G'day everyone, hope you're doing really well. Welcome back to Planet Mini Golf, or Planet Coaster 2 in this case, which is yet to have something like mini golf added, but I thought I'd go ahead and create it anyway, and maybe it's going to help lobby for what I think many of us would love to see in this game, something other than just flat rides and transport rides, etc. The nice thing about mini golf is it sort of lends itself really well to theming, and I built this tower to complement this French themed hole 18, and yeah, I think it works really well. You've got the path there, hey, that's what I do, right? Paths to make the actual putting green itself, and I think that's part of the fun here, as we can use the pathing tool to create different shapes and yeah, go crazy making all sorts of different holes, and then theming it with, you know, novelty wine bottles or champagne bottles here to complement the whole look and feel. But yeah, isn't that cool? I think I was hoping maybe even as a community you might like to get involved and create your own golf hole for the course, and we could share it and yeah, stitch it together. But more on that later. Yeah, let's get stuck in. Okay, so let's have a look at how we built the tower. It's quite a complex structure, but when you break it down into these flats, it becomes quite straightforward. You firstly take metal support beams, and I've used the smallest pieces possible and created this grid structure, and then we stitch it together. And I've used these blocks here to sort of help with the layout process, getting the angles right. If you can get the edges nice and straight and the angles right when you build it, and then come to rotate it and sort of make a 3D structure, then it will go a lot easier for you. So I did the first two parts, the base and the mid section, and now I'm just doing the tower here. So I won't bore you with it, so let's speed through it and you can get the general idea of how we build something like this. When it comes to building something like this, I typically tend to hesitate because it feels like work. It's not something I look forward to, but if you do the groundwork, get the angles right and set yourself up some templates, it can go pretty quickly. And yeah, duplicating and using the scale tool has made this so much easier in Planet Coaster 2. Without the scale tool, I probably would never attempt this, but it made it quite straightforward. And before you know it, you've got yourself a nice little template. And you'll notice I built the tower in 3 main sections, and they have their own angle to them. And that's important so that when you come to do the fun part here, like rotating this to build the structure, that you can get the edges aligned. And then what we do is we duplicate the inside, and you get this nice 3D legs for the tower. Obviously with this method, there's duplication on the corners, and you've got to remove bits, so I just take my time and pull those out, and you might need to scale some things back. But a structure like this is fairly forgiving. Like, you can quite comfortably get away with some little mismatches here and there just because it's so complex to look at. From there, it's just a matter of replicating what we did before. But it's something very satisfying in Planet Coaster and any creative sandbox game like this, where you start with a very basic piece and you end up with something like this structure. And really, it is literally 1 or 2 pieces I think we used from the scenery box. And yeah, we talk about, you know, these games feeling like Lego or yeah, those types of construction toys, and it really isn't very different. I had a little bit of trouble here with the top, just getting that aligned, so I ended up just deleting that off and recreating it and making it simpler. For these purposes of a model, it was yeah, perfectly fine. And in the end, it's yeah, quite a cool little feature for the golf course. Gave it a paint of ochre paint, and yeah, off we go. So making little golf courses like this is so fun, and to create a hole like this is just a path using a green coloured path. So I'll just show you that quickly. I've got a square down here, and I've placed an arc shape on top for the little launch pad. And if we come into the pathing tool and use the stamp builder, I'm just going to create a little example course. And so we're going to go up and down and up and down, and then an end. And using that grid, we can then take the second piece, skip 2, so that one and that one, and I'm just going to raise these up to the desired height. And if you haven't seen my advanced path editing video, I go into this in more detail, but using the edit tool here, we can adjust the slope. And probably something worth noting as well is we can smooth these curves. So we've got these harsh lines at the moment, and I don't think I talked about this last time, but by actually adding a curve to this by using the rounding tool, we'll actually smooth these out. So you get a more gentle slope. So it actually works in the vertical as well as the horizontal, which is something I really just discovered when I was messing around with this. But there's two nice little slopes, and we can come in with this, and we might want to make that hill a little bit more sharp, so I can bring that in like so. And then I can take this one and bring that in again. And so you can sort of see how you can control the slopes of pathing as well, which is kind of cool. Now for the hole, you can't physically create a hole because you've got a curb. So what I've done is used a piece of pipe, I think it is from the aquatic set, and just put a black shape circle inside it, and yeah, little pole and a triangle, and you've got yourself a little hole. And from this distance I think it looks fine. But yeah, you can go crazy creating your own holes and then decorating it. Even just simple things like throwing in rocks in the middle of the course, I think it works quite well, because you do see that. Maybe that's a bit big, but yeah, just little obstacles and things like that. So it's yeah, quite fun, and yeah, go crazy creating stuff, and then obviously decorating and putting in a theme. So a little French theme here with a little sign. Got my grapevines, some champagne bottles which are made out of art shapes. Yeah, you can really do whatever you like, and I think that's why we want mini golf in the game. Something different from flat rides and roller coasters, where you can creatively use the terrain and do interesting things like this. So that is how you do it. Well, thanks for joining me on this one. It's a little bit unique, but I think mini golf is a bit of a passion area for quite a few people. And if that's got your creative juices flowing and you want to potentially make your own hole using these techniques, I'd love it for you to share it. And what I'm thinking of doing is bringing together a whole range of holes to make a full course. And so if that's something you're interested in or you think is a good idea, please let me know in the comments, and I'm going to have a think about how we could stitch them together, perhaps sharing your creations in the workshop. But yeah, otherwise, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps me out. And I hope you enjoyed that one, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.